All right, well, here we are, another week. This is episode 11.
We're at 11? Oh, you're
No, I
right.
think it's 12, isn't it?
It's 11.
No, it's 11.
Mm,
I
What's it
know.
called? It's called
I need to edit last week's footage in that case.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know what this episode's called.
wait. Fuck. I just had it.
It's first come, first serve.
Oh, that's what it is. First come, first serve. First come first. I was not gonna get it.
No, why
Yeah.
was it that though? I don't remember why. Like what
I'm
significance?
assuming because
Oh,
of the Surrey trip, like,
Oh, is it like a double entendre on her first round of invites? But
or
then
is it
that's
a
what I'm
double
thinking.
entendre on production's strategy of distributing favors
Mhm.
and good graces?
I think we're gonna talk about that some.
All right, who's giving the toast?
Oh, okay. I got my glass, or it's a mug today.
Oh,
Not me.
ooh,
It's not me, is it?
I think it is you.
No, it's not me.
It's you, Katherine.
What?
You haven't toasted in a
Oh.
minute.
It's you.
Okay, well then, don't mind if I do.
Too good.
Cheers to the possibility, we're gonna leave it open, but the possibility of Mia's redemption.
Okay.
Cheers. Cheers. Are you drinking passion fruit?
I love You are now watching Mind You Media.
Mind you.
We can't use that. We don't have the rights. You are now streaming Mind You Media. Well, Ellen, could you start us off with
Recap.
a little recap?
I thought that
little
was your
recap.
favorite segment.
It is my favorite segment. I'm getting my timer ready.
She feels she was bested last time, so that's why she's not so enthusiastic this
It seems
time.
that way.
This is the thing. I'm gonna have better luck next time, so
We'll see.
I'm not even pressed. Okay.
Yeah, give me my go.
All right. I'm gonna count to 3 and then I'm gonna say, then you start talking.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, season 8, episode 11, first come, first serve. The episode opens with Wendy and Eddie surprising little Carter on his 10th birthday in the middle of the night for some reason.
Welcome to the double digits.
We go to Ashley and Gizelle discussing their new clothing line, GNA. It's giving tacky. Then we find Karen and her rigid aunt Val and Val's son David discussing Karen's recent acquisition of her family home on the land. They're not Hugers, I don't know their last name. In Surry County.
Woodens.
We have Mia and Robyn at a salt sanctuary, keying. Mia is really the one bringing the entertainment. We don't hear nothing about what Robyn thinks about her last convo with Candace. Then we have Eddie and Wendy having food at Kanoko. Wendy seems a little resentful of Eddie in light of the his busyness with his business.
Okay.
Then we have Ray and Karen at lunch. Karen thinks happy hour is too cheap for our lunch date. It's weird. Then we have Nneka and Ikenna at their home, barely unpacked. Ikenna is rushing to work and looking for his badge. Later, Gizelle and Charisse join, and of course, those bitter hoes discuss everybody but their own lives. Finally, we have the start of Karen's Surrey trip. There is some drama surrounding who's invited, who's not, but who ultimately ends up going is Ashley, Candace, Wendy, Nneka, and Karen. And they do a little bit of yard work. They bless the home. And they have a general good time because the devils are absent.
The devils?
How much time left? That was amazing.
No, that you went definitely over 2 minutes. I was
like, the way you be so hyped to cut somebody off. Are you serious?
I did cut you off. I did cut you off. I thought you just kept going. You'll see when you cut this recording. You will see there's a moment where I scream into the mic.
You have a loud ass voice. Normally, everyone knows it when the time is up.
I didn't
You
hear it.
sabotaged me.
What?
You sabotaged
I cannot
me.
wait for the rewatch. You're gonna be like,
You sabotaged me.
no, that was. I mean, I stopped it, so I can't tell for sure, but it was probably close to 3 minutes.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
Liar.
You were talking about
Liar.
Kanoko. You were talking about Kanoko when it was a minute.
Well, that was the second to last. I mean,
No, you had 2 fat points. You yeah, exactly. Okay.
That was like 4 to last.
middle.
You
Five
were
of
talking
eight.
about happy hour prices after that, so there was more.
Yeah, that was Ray and your girl Karen.
Maybe I was just screaming so loudly that the mic couldn't pick it up, and it just
That
you know
does
how sometimes
happen.
yeah, that
Often when
could have
I'm
been it.
screaming
The mic-
loudly on the mic.
So, enough. No, I'm not doing all that.
You cannot hold all of this for you.
Kristen will not abide it.
Okay. So let's get this episode started now that we've had the recap. Thank you. I'm looking forward to one day someone being successful, you know.
I was successful last time per Ellen's advice that I just name what happened. I got it in
Oh,
52
that's true.
minutes or 52
Yes,
seconds.
and it was well under. I would actually like it to get closer to a minute. Okay, but that that one has to plan that. But it should also be noted the reason why it is exceedingly hard these days is because the producers are using the hot dog strategy of production, where they just clip clop any random piece of the goddamn pig and throw it into an episode. So whereas at the start of the season we had maybe 2 scenes that they still weren't giving us the real content of, because even at Ashley's housewarming we were like, they're cutting conversation. Now we have 10 segments per episode and there's just like a sprinkling. Where's the dialogue?
10 segments per episode, and those segments somehow still get clipped out of order. It's like, how am I tracking that you're manipulating a scene that's only
Right.
like what?
Yeah, right. It's like they start off with plates of food at the table and then they leave. I mean, towards the end of the scene, they're taking orders. Like, make it make sense.
Right. I feel like the backbone of the show now is the drone. And it's just like it drops in and then comes back up and then, but that's really like how everything is ordered, thought of. You're never really on the ground in any of these scenes for real. It's just like, okay, well, now flying to Potomac Village now, flying to Arlington now.
It's the B-rollification of Real Housewives now.
Well, and I was going to say the algorithmification, right? Like maybe AI is writing the script, which that's the same thing as B-roll because that's how AI thinks.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, that's because that's how the public thinks. AI is
because AI
none other than a reflection of how discourse moves.
Whoosh. Okay.
Well,
with that being
more to say.
I want to start out with the Salt Sanctuary of Maryland.
No, but first, I want to raise this thing that we were blessed to encounter last week. Candace was doing the interview circuit. I don't know why, but she was doing the interview circuit last week. She was on this podcast, which was very funny, by this woman, Mona, who was based out of Philly, I think. They make a very cute duo. They might need a spinoff. And then she was on Angela Yee's show. And on Angela Yee, she said some things that I feel like are very resonant in light of how we conceptualize Mind You, right? Like the first thing she says is the first thing that's resonant is like she appreciates the way the viewers create discourse in light of, in the wake of every episode, and how that discourse elevates the show, right? Like it elevates the significance of the show. So it's not just entertainment, it's popular and political culture. Like, as viewers, we watch it in light of its meanings in the broader society. So that's nice because we agree. And then she also said, and I think it's like a small point, but it's very pointed given the direction the show is going in these days, and also some of the discourse on social media. She said it's a show about women and friendships and conflict and resolution. And I guess I'm wondering how that point squares with people who have recently been demanding, give us luxury. Like, we are here to see how the rich and famous live. It doesn't have to necessarily be in contradistinction with what Candace said, but to me, like, what Candace said is like the point of the show, and that's kind of how the three of us watch it, right? Like, we're here to watch women have friendships, get into conflict in their friendships, in their romantic relationships, and, you know, try their best to resolve those. It's not like we have a standard for how they need to like engage conflict, resolve conflict, whatever. It's like that's how life unfolds, and that's what we want to see, the like actual rich content of people's lives.
Yes. Yes. I have no interest in seeing a show or continuing to watch a show that's just about luxury.
How much can you get out of that anyway, right? Like,
That's it. Go on Zillow if that's what you want to do. Like that's fun to do, but it's like, why would I watch a show to imagine what other people do? And it's like the camera's there, so it's not even what they really do, you know?
Yeah, it's like there are shows devoted to that, like indulge your fantasies of belonging to the upper crust or something. But
My
also,
Lotus. That's it.
There it is. But it's also like, you know, I'm not trying to ever give Andy any credit, particularly credit he doesn't deserve, but the show's called Real Housewives. So it's like the point is not for you to like go see like some caviar and champagne image. It's about like encountering real people, as our newsletter said, even when they're not keeping it real all the time, but real people. And like to Candace's point, it's about real people in friendship, community, relationships that run afield, expire, like have long breaks. Nene and Cynthia fell out and now they're, you know, they at least are cordial. We see like the long array of people's relationships. I want to see that.
You know, what you just said makes me think of something. Is like part of the problem of the show these days, but maybe historically, like the tension between Andy's vision, Andy and all his signifiers, Andy as white gay, Andy as white gay producer who would like to sit amongst the elite, but like thinks he gets down and dirty because he makes shows with Black people in it. Is it the tension between Andy's vision and like what it's actually like to be, let's say, a Black woman in America? Because calling it Real Housewives was always a kind of funny thing to do with respect to Black women, because even if those Black women were wealthy, even if they were not working by like, you know, the formal expectations of work, they were never going to be housewives. That's like not, it's not necessarily a sensible category to apply to Black women, period. Right? Like the stats show, Black women are the dominant wage earners in their Black households, right? So it's kind of like, is this part of the problem? Like the producers from Andy on down's vision of the thing is like a trope of women, a caricature of women, and one that just doesn't fit.
Yes.
It's like drag.
1000%. Yes.
Like what? Drag. Yeah. Like
and it's
a
like
costume.
Maybe that's the success of Atlanta as the first Black franchise, where it's like the richness of showing that the category is always gonna like be made of fun of, or like be run afoul of, or like, you know, it's like by some means housewife isn't gonna fit. Either you're working and married or you're not married anymore, and you know, like it's all these things like that don't hold, but like that was the richness of it. And it feels like Potomac is trying to take it too seriously these days. Like, you know, I don't know. We talked about how our watching of the early season, the first season, the early seasons in general, it's like it seems like more clear lampooning of the striverly orientation of the women. And it's like, why are people now going back and being like, ain't enough caviar and luxury? It's like Candace's event was so beautiful. It's like, that was never like on consistent offer or like consistently delivered. So why is that now the expectation?
And what really triggers me is that at least the people I see saying this whole luxury line of argumentation are other Black people. They're not Andy, you know? And it's like, why are you taking like the line? Like I'm seeing Black women like reproduce tropes that gay men make up about Black women.
Yeah, although I don't think it started with the Black women.
Yeah.
Frankly, to the extent that I'm on Twitter seeing this thing happen, I feel like the first person I tracked saying it was a male viewer, and then it just kind of took off and proliferated. Because I believe, like, if you've been watching if you watched the first season of this show and you were like, ew, and then you returned and you stuck through it, like, probably you stuck through it because it was giving you rich content about women having conflicts, resolving those conflicts, not resolving those conflicts, being in their relationships, etc. Like, I actually think even if one does not consciously recognize it, because their aspirations are like taking up a lot of space, like the thing that really draws us is seeing the women relate to each other. Like,
yes. Any reality show I've ever watched, I am looking to see people in community.
yeah.
And then when it's a Black franchise of a real, like, I'm all the more invested in seeing like people actively be in community.
Yeah.
And so what this has become is just like deeply upsetting.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And like, because that's the kind of that has always been the orienting principle of Black people. And not even on some like lovey whatever shit, but like precisely because, and this is me, I'm going to try to distill a theoretical concept that I did not invent. But it's precisely because as Black people, first of all, our representations are never individual, right? Like we know if there is the token on a show or whatever, they reflect all of Black people. And that's not a thing we made for ourselves. It may be a thing we embrace, but it's precisely because the dominant society is like, you are all one massified whatever. So like, if one of you we determine is criminal, you're all criminal, blah, 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 right? Like that's the way the society produces the image, the representation of Black people. And so we have always had an intense investment in how we are represented because we recognize like it's not just one, right? Like one equals all of us. And so it's nice, frankly, to have a show that's like an all Black cast. So you can get the full spectrum of like, ways of relating,
investments,
aspirations, values, appearances, blah, blah, exactly, of Black people. And we're not getting that anymore, right? It's like, and even this like call for it to be about luxury, it feels like just trying to like filter it through white stuff, like trying to impose white expectations and values on it. Like, I'm not saying that like Black people are not invested in striving, and like wealth accumulation, but that's not, come on. That's not it. That can be a dressing on top. That like it's certainly not the substance.
I've not heard it before. Like I don't know. I won't say like my ears were always to the Twitter streets about the 16 years of Housewives it's been or longer. I don't know, but it's like I haven't really heard that as a demand before, which tells me also like if I'm giving some legitimacy that it's like that call is representing something true about the world, it feels like it's because production has so impoverished the like offering that was before, like something rich about women interacting in relation, having conflicts, having different different like investments and values represented, that now people are like, shit, if you're not gonna give us the richness of relation, like let me just see a piece of caviar.
Give us the aesthetics. Yeah. No, and you know what? 100%, if you think back to the Austin trip, that is the like exemplar of the thing you're describing, because they didn't show us much of anything in Austin, right? Like, and there was something so forceful production was up to in terms of the conflicts they wanted to advance. People were just like, you can feel yourself getting itchy and like not knowing why. And then you're just like, why are we in a chicken coop? Like, like if you can't really understand what's happening, because that's the nature of like, filmic and TV production, it's meant to mystify. Like that's how the cut works, right? Like, then you're kind of just like, the images are ugly. Please take them away from me. Like they cannot force us into the goddamn dive bar chicken coop. And you know what I mean? Like, and that doesn't mean, it's about that. This is like poor and blah, blah. Like, yeah, like if you're just the aesthetics of Mia's smaller apartment are just fine
Yeah,
as the backdrop to a rich conversation about,
Mhm.
you know, like it doesn't really matter. It's just something, there was something so, I don't know, stultifying. I'm
Mhm.
not even sure if that's the word I really mean to use about Austin too. And that like Ashley was at the helm of
Yeah,
that.
with Ashley at the
Just, it was
I
nasty
mean,
feeling.
our discussions, we were like, we're still here. Remember, we cheered to
Mhm.
finally leaving because it was
Yeah.
3 or 4 episodes in Austin. It's like, this is not it. It's not beautiful.
5, I think.
Nothing is happening.
No.
Like people, it's like, yeah, it felt authorized, the like ugliness of the setting in addition to or underscoring the ugliness of the interpersonal interactions felt like authorized by just like Ashley disciplining these black B words into
Mhm.
white adherence. Like
Mhm.
it's an Austin cultural thing to go to the chicken shit. And it's like, girl, get us out of here. Karen just turned
Get us out
60
of here.
and she decided to come with your ass on this whack ass trip.
Yeah.
Honor
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Because it's like, it's not, it's like the aesthetics also reflect a level of substance, right? And it was just impoverished. That's what it was. Like the like content was impoverished. The relationships, like we weren't actually getting substance. We were getting heavy-handed direction by the producers, and that's what felt poor, right? In like the broader sense of that term.
Yeah.
I look back at I've seen like throwback clips of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And it's like the clips are of the glory days. And everybody looks, you know, way less made up, way less luxurious. And it's like, wow, if like there's a reason that was the heyday. It like this is like Atlanta's never looked more luxurious than it does now, and it's never been worse.
Touche, touche. And Marlo is the fucking poster child of that. Right, Marlo will serve looks, but the other thing she's serving is quite alarming. Okay, but that's for another moment.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be really interesting to keep tracking like all the ways that production is undercutting our ability to see and say something forceful and useful. Like we're having to work very hard to find what might be the seeds of potential insights about the relations between the characters because production is just like, how about Wendy and Eddie for 45 seconds? Okay, and then Gizelle and Ashley for 55 seconds. It's like, stop. Let me see. Like whole episode used to be people's two-way conversations. Just two people having a rich remember when was it Surry? When did Surry talk about damn, now I'm forgetting it. It's not the South Africa. It was when Surry and Kim when she was pulling on the wig.
On the street.
Yes.
That was a long dinner. That was a long dinner.
Yes, I just was recently rewatching that clip, and I totally forgot Lindsay Lohan's father was involved. It's just so great.
Oh, yeah.
That's part of the. Oh wait, no, that's a Nene. Well, I'll send the.
In any
but
case.
it was so unhinged. I was like, this is why people watch, okay? For like emotions to be so raw that something happens like this. You don't see any of the women's real emotions on Potomac.
Except for Gizelle.
But yeah, anyway. Except for Candace, and then she gets bullied for emotional expression. Okay. Well,
let me just the last thing I will say though is that I was thinking like I would only be satisfied watching Potomac nowadays, like if I were like at the gym. I feel like that's, you know, like when you're doing something, when you're cleaning.
Because you can't hear it.
Yes, where it's like, okay, I can follow along without really, you know, putting in any mental effort.
Yeah.
Yes,
you know, I used to try to sell my sister on Housewives generally, but she watches TV and movies very distractedly all the time with her phone. I'm just like, no, but you can't do that if you're gonna know what happens and like retain a sense of what people's positions were over a course of time. You have to pay attention. It's like not in this season, you don't.
No.
Well, now, okay, but let's like consider that also because there exists in Hollywood this category called, Hollywood, that's my name for the industry of TV production. This category of content, of TV content called second screen content. So they create shows in mind, knowing you're going to be watching it like this.
I think this has become that show.
I think they might be consciously making it that. Like perhaps some network execs said, okay, this is our second screen content kind of stuff. And so, but it's like, you're wrong. Like you could have pushed back against some network execs if that's what they were saying, and reflect on the previous seasons, because people watch the show concertedly. You've now forced us. You've now produced it as that. And so, like, what else can we do? Well, we keep talking about it.
You saying that makes it so much clearer that that's a strategy, like a network strategy, because it explains the early release of the clips that certain accounts get on Twitter. It's like, well, if people are basically like, I have a friend who literally is like, I'm a Housewives stan. I just don't watch the show. I just watch the clips as they proliferate on Instagram and Twitter. And it's like, how can you say that? How can you say you are an adherent to the show if you don't watch the show? But it's like, if it's meant to be produced as second screen and we highlight the like most consequential clips the week before and have people comment on Twitter, then that makes sense. You don't need to watch.
Yeah, I think that totally. You wouldn't be, there's nothing that would slow you down if you were on the treadmill. You know, you don't become engrossed in some conversation, some dynamic.
And you know what else about that too? That's how they're counting their profit, because most of us are not watching the show live. We're watching it on Peacock, and Peacock doesn't have ads that run throughout the show. So when they do these little releases that they give to friends of, like the producers, like that remains a mystery for me. But when they do those releases too, I bet you they track, like, you know, eyeballs, because that's how profit is calculated these days. Attention, right? Like how many views did you get? So you don't even necessarily need ads present there. You can still speculate on the basis of value by the amount of views something gets. And so it feels like they're just doing profit making strategies. Like there's the social media one, the Twitter one, and then there's the live, you know, broadcast of the show, and then the Peacock one is what? That's just the archive. Like that's just the
and
archive.
then a large part of Bravo's thing, I believe, is just Saturday and Sunday. You know, those shows that air you know,
like weekend reruns.
Yes. Yeah. Like 7 episodes in a row of Below Deck, you know.
Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, I raised Candace's claims because, like, A. I raised Candace's claims because A, they are like expressive of how we understand the show and like our frame of reference for the kind of discourse we're participating in, the conversations we are generating via this podcast, but also because I'm wondering if we can think about like if we can put a finer point on what is exactly the problem with this season as we consider the various scenes.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to like making connections between this like global production problem and how it expresses itself in the interactions that we see, because I feel like there are lots of touch points, you know. But anyway, take us away, Katherine. Where we going next?
We are going to the Salt Sanctuary of Maryland.
Okay. No,
I think you missed something.
Yeah, you did.
I'm looking at the wrong thing again. I'm looking at the chat.
Because we first want to roast.
Yeah, it's our roast time.
We first want to roast Ashley and Gizelle for their clothing line.
First of all,
I was surprised that
the two least qualified housewives of all time to do anything that touches clothes.
Okay, can we do a drinking game? Okay, here's my drinking game. Throughout the episode, whoever can think of a more accurate, appropriate, entertaining, what's it called, acronym or whatever thing for GNA, you just call it out and then we drink it.
Got no example.
Got no aesthetic.
That was good. You had to have had that plan. Shut up. You had that plan. No.
Drank, it still counts. Got no aesthetics.
I think that's just, it's embarrassing. It's like you're setting yourself up to be embarrassed, especially if you're Gizelle. Like, people roast you so hard. Like, I don't get, like, does she think she's making lemonade out of the lemons? Like, what?
Oh, like that.
Wait,
I don't
what's
know.
that? Lemonade out of what lemons?
Like basically trying to reframe like Eddie's Happy Eddie, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't work. Like
I don't see
it
it.
doesn't follow the logic of reframing because it's like, no, you remain tacky. So like if you did something under the umbrella of tacky stuff, right? Like if you were leading with, and we're tacky, like, so we do costumes. Like if you did clown costumes, fitting.
Yeah.
That would have worked out.
That would
Would have
be
been an explosive
funny.
business model. Y'all are the poster.
Yes, yes. Cosplay would have ate that up. Okay. The cosplay community. Okay, but I know lots of people have already. But why did Gizelle? She said so. We're talking rhymes. But
It's just so specific. That's such a specific like who is your target audience?
Lace. She
it's
said.
exactly. She said rhinestones, lace, mesh. These are the keywords of tacky. It was like she was trolling us. She might be.
That's how it feels. When we see them with a little notebook, I'm like, this is a joke. This is a joke.
Well, she said we're thinking Lululemon meets Rihanna's Savage line. That's it.
Like, what? Do not bring up Rihanna in the context of business. Please. Please.
And also it's kind of like no, you're thinking Rihanna meets dollar stores. That's what you're thinking. Because first of all, don't invoke Lululemon in this because Rihanna does athleisure too. Rihanna Savage Fenty or whatever does athleisure. So you don't need to invoke. You're not going for anything that's adjacent to Lululemon. You're not going for stuff like, you know, your average suburban white woman would wear. So I'm not really sure where you reached for that.
I also don't like the logo. It's not cute to me. Just separate, even if you just bought a t-shirt or whatever.
It's like Good Morning America.
No, they about to get another lawsuit.
We can only hope. We can only hope. Okay, but do y'all notice? I feel like
girl, not athleisure. Girl.
There you go. Drink.
Girl, not athleisure.
That's actually better than the first. Wow.
No, it's not.
No, that's so funny.
Come up with one on your own. Don't be a hater, okay? Those are both great.
No, I'm saying the second one is amazing. I thought the first one was great, but I thought the second one was so good.
Yeah, no aesthetics. I really like that one. Okay. But I think Ashley is going along to get along because you remember when Gizelle raised the pink lace mesh leggings or whatever? Ashley was like, yeah, those are fine. Like she's like pretending
is
like
velour breathable?
Yeah.
So what is the point? You're not going to really have any creative control. You're really gonna leave it in Gizelle's incapable
You're hitching your
hands?
wagon to Gizelle. Just
What is that like? What sensibility is that? Like I don't understand that.
I think there are a lot of people who, well, especially Ashley now is, you know, a full adult and has never done anything
just
herself.
at 39.
Well, no, and so it's like she's looking for a strong personality, even if that, you know, she is like feels safer in the endeavor because she's like, okay, well, we're in it together. I'm linking
just
up
needs
with
a
this.
job.
Yeah. That's it.
Yes, she needs to be someone's employee.
She's a 7. She doesn't want to be anybody's employee. So fine, that's fine, right? Like, but as a 7, also, why is she looking to hitch her wagon? Like 7s tend to like really want to be in charge of division. Like, why is she leaving that to Gizelle? Like, this is not tracking.
She must not know. Gizelle's not accountable. Come on, Gizelle not accountable.
I see what you did there.
This is great.
Surprise.
Sitting there playing a game while we're talking. She's like,
yeah, well, you said game, I'm rising to the occasion.
Okay. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know if I should go this far, but it's like, do we need to reconsider whether Ashley is actually a 7?
On what basis? Say more.
I just can't imagine a 7 being like, take the wheel, tacky girl. Like, like, not that Ashley's not tacky herself, but she knows Gizelle has a reputation for being tacky. She
I
knows
don't think
that.
Gizelle is really taking the wheel. I don't know. I think that Ashley could still be a 7 and that they'll probably break up pretty early on. You know, this clothing line will not do well once it gets
When it
hard.
inevitably does not do well.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
Ashley
like,
gets to cosplay as like business minded, because you noted in that interaction she was just like doing her multisyllabic reasonable voice, like, well, I just think the profit motive has to, she was just like speaking in that tone, and Gizelle was like, you don't want lace, doing her like a little
yeah,
little
exactly.
I don't know. I feel like maybe she's getting gratified by being like, I can be a working woman too.
Yes.
Like,
And this is a
it doesn't work.
fun new project, and like, oh, I can do it with Gizelle, and oh, look, we're bonding. Oh,
That's what I feel like it is, actually. Like, okay, I suspected this when I heard about the clothing line on the internet before, and that would corroborate why, or help explain why Ashley seems like she's about to make terrible business decisions and like relinquish her vision to, not that she has vision, but a 7 likes to move according to their own vision. That's why I don't want to be employees, right? But if this is merely an opportunity to ingratiate herself to Gizelle, to become Gizelle's next number 2, then actually I'm sure this idiot would risk a business enterprise just for that.
1000%. What did Karen call her in this episode? She called her I'm asking. You're gonna make me look it up. She said, I don't know, when she was inviting them to Surry, she was like, oh, Gizelle's wingman is how she described Ashley.
Okay.
So clearly that's how their dynamic has become.
Her wingman. Yeah, because not Robyn anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, the strain.
Gizelle's on the market.
Let's start talking about the end of the GEBs.
Yeah.
The GEBs sacrificed for the GNAs.
That's right. And I mean, anyway, it'll be a more interesting. No, I'm not sure that's true. Whatever. Are we done roasting them?
Y'all didn't give us any acronyms. Come on.
We need time. So
you were the one who suggested the game, Ellen. I thought you would have one.
Do you think I have not been laboring here to think of something? Okay. The well is dry. That's the problem. I'm trying.
No, the well is still. This is not my forte. Okay.
With that mindset, it's not going to be. Come on. Don't you want to be a star?
Oh.
That's right. Take it off.
That's right. Take it off.
You don't have all day.
Okay. I'm moving on.
Okay. Yes, we're ready.
I just want to say one more time before I move on that it really is just absurd. It's just absurd. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. That Gizelle would think this is like something that I'm going to do. I have been on the website twice. And they only have 6 items. And I went recently because
they're really trying to ride the She by Sheree wave, it seems like.
It's also here.
How dare they?
But even the color scheme, like everything's either red, black, or white. It's like not Ashley's look at all, to your earlier point.
Exactly. And you know what, by the way, She by Sheree's athleisure is tacky if you ask your girl. Okay. No offense to anyone who indulged. But if I were going to buy anything, Sheree is fit as fuck. I would be like, okay, is these leggings gonna make me as fit as Sheree? And that would be like, the woman is like all muscle. So
this is what they got.
Sell me athleisure.
Yeah, that's all they have.
They're just stealing embellished market.
Sucks.
That's so true.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, that's nasty.
And to that point though, can I did note that I was just like, oh really, Ashley? We of course you make a personality of being like fit in yoga and all that kind of stuff, but it's like Gizelle's gonna be the person you go into business with. Gizelle she don't be exercising. She don't make a
she probably
makes a brand. At least she doesn't announce it. It's like she makes a brand out of eating sweets and hanging out. Like It's
She
a
goes to the
weird
gym
marketing
like
piece.
middle-aged people go to the gym. You know, she probably
No,
gets
she
on the
probably goes a
elliptical.
little more because Gizelle is well in her years. So
Mhm.
for her frame to be what it is, she's working out, and she historically, like if you watch back to season 1, she was in the gym.
Well, if you ask me,
It's not like
she's getting no activity.
yeah, she's not disciplined, right? So she's not gonna pair that with like barely eating. She's going
Getting
she's
no
in the gym.
activity. You got to drink to that. That's a good one.
Okay. Fine. Fine.
Fine.
Carry on.
Okay, but she probably works out so that she can indulge, right? Which is like why a
Yes,
lot of people. It's a
exactly.
very relatable relationship to exercise. And Ashley is just like again, and I'm gonna say I said it. Oh, call me a body shamer. I said it first episode. I'm gonna say it again. Don't nobody want that rectangular box.
That's the thing. Ashley should be selling yoga mats. She should be
I
selling.
wouldn't buy it.
Well, no, but I'm saying to fit with her, like, who is her audience? I would think it was like young,
vexed.
white. What'd you say?
She's vexed. It's like she would be selling yoga mats and flowers and kids products and home essentials. If she, she's just like whatever the wind blows, wherever the wind blows is who she's gonna be.
Best thing Ashley can do is write a tell-all.
And
because we'd buy it. Because we'd buy it. We'd be like, Katherine, you read it.
I would be highlighting. I would be quoting, please. Yes.
She needed to Gizelle and Ashley needed to do the podcast because that shit would have skyrocketed in terms of Ashley probably saying all the things. I can't imagine that Robyn is very transparent.
Yeah.
Beyond the paywall.
And neither is Gizelle.
I think they're just haters. They're both really good at hating. So I guess to the extent that
with these cast members, I would like a podcast, like in a fantasy world with Candace and Karen.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Yeah. Ooh, Mia too. Throw Mia in there just to be stupid every now and then. Yeah.
Well, speak of the devil, we see her later this episode.
Yes, she is lying back in a dark room filled with salt and Robyn's lies.
We're seeing a new health beauty trend emerge, I guess, with the salt sanctuary. Because whenever a housewife goes to a thing, it then proliferates as a thing to do.
That's true.
I feel like I saw it first on another franchise.
You did?
I thought I did.
I don't think it was on Atlanta.
Maybe it was on Maths. I feel like I saw salt.
I've never seen, because like if you go to a Korean spa or whatever, there'll be like a salt room, but I've never seen a whole place dedicated to just salt. Yeah. Anyways, yes, Mia is really doing the Lord's work, trying to produce content for this show. And it's like the only one who's like anywhere close to successful with getting Robyn to like speak on her life.
And
although Robyn still did not,
I was just gonna say, and she's just lightly shaming her. Like,
that's what I think Mia does well, but she doesn't get Robyn to disclose. Robyn's still not disclosing,
which is like Robyn. Me, I'm like, what is their connection? I'm impressed at Mia's ability to be like, "Hi, girlfriend," but you ain't going to therapy, not even a little bit. Sometimes,
that's it. Mia is no holds barred. She's going to say a thing, even in the name of friendship, if it offends you right then and there. I like that. I mean, I like that on her. I don't like it on Ashley.
Robyn, yes, answers, even if it's the most superficial way, she still answers. And she's not sitting there just like, like she's actually like, okay, I will respond to your question.
I'll tell you
who respond.
That's not enough though. She still needs to go if that's all she's giving. I'll tell you.
Agreed.
Who could get her to talk? Nneka. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Nneka is going to compliment you to death and also bolster everything you're saying, right? She's a yes man. So Robyn's gonna start saying, she's gonna be like, yes, and because, right? And then Robyn's gonna be like, you understand me. And then start disclosing, and Nneka's gonna be like, yes to everything she's saying. And so Robyn's gonna talk a lot.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. I actually I mean, I would be happy to learn some info, but also I'm like not even. I think Nneka is so unlikable. I hate every scene that she's in.
Agreed.
But we got to give Nneka appreciation for her capacity to do that.
It's true.
Give Nneka appreciation.
No, I will not drink to that.
You introduced the concepts.
Now these are just not related to Gizelle and Ashley anymore.
You didn't even do one while we were talking about them. So now we're going the whole episode.
Yes, she has to carry the show today.
By the way, recall that I said we drink if it's good. Okay.
Oh, please. That's too much pressure. That really stifles.
I want to roll the tape. I don't remember that.
I gave you your flowers on the first two, but let's keep it to Gizelle and Ashley related acronyms.
Keep going, Kristen. I support you.
Now you do. So I, with respect to Mia and Robyn at the Salt Sanctuary, I think Robyn, I don't know if this was even like sequentially the first thing that happened, but Robyn is like, and then many years ago, I was having lunch with Karen, and we were talking about, and she shows her phone, and it's like, girl, shut up. You thought you fucking ate with that. Like, we don't think that's weird. I mean, I don't. Do y'all think that's weird? It's like you're on a show together. Karen could have literally been talking about you to somebody who didn't know you and be like, oh, well, you don't know her? You may have seen her at X event. Like, oh, here's a picture. You may know her father. You may know her mother. And then bring forward a photo.
But can I also just say, like, it's even less damning than that because it's her whole family. Like, and they were dressed up in an occasion. It's like, if Karen was harboring a single photo of you, it still could be defensible, but maybe more. It's like, girl, that's occasion. You could just be like, oh yeah, we went to this event together, or this is her family, or she's married to this ex-NBA player. Do you know him? Like, it's, what?
Yeah, and Juan is not even in the photo, so it's clearly about the parents, probably.
What I will say is if I looked at someone's phone and there was, I was the Robyn in this situation, I would feel a way. And if I were Karen, I would feel, I mean, had I been alerted to this, I do think it's a gotcha moment, but the gotcha is simply, oh, you've been talking about me. And it could have been negative, could have been neutral, but she definitely is not obsessed with you. And that's what annoyed me about the thing.
It's like not a gotcha. It only gets to be a gotcha because here's the real issue with the story. You didn't say shit to her, you fucking scaredy ass B word. Why wouldn't you be like, Karen, what is this photo doing? Like, you want it to be a thing. That's why you didn't say anything. And you literally, she must be talking about first season or something stupid like that. You literally waited 8 seasons to recall this to somebody who didn't even probably know Karen back then. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's tacky. If you encounter something that is fairly banal, because guess what? It would be true. We watched the show and we have photos of Robyn in our phone.
Yeah.
We have photos of Juan's mistress in our phone too.
No, I'm not saying it's an egregious moment because I've been caught in moments like this all the time. I'm not saying I would not be Karen here, but it still does feel like, okay, I have your family. But, it doesn't mean that like I'm up to no good or blah, blah, blah. But it's still one of those moments like, yikes, it's
a public photo though. It's a public photo. Like, it's one of those photos they took for public consumption. So it's like, how is it it's available for anybody who Googles? Maybe I was at that event. Maybe I know somebody who was at that event and I was trying to jog there. There's so many legitimate things that could have motivated her to have it. She screenshotted it because she's texting it, blah, 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 blah. And she's about to meet up with Robyn. She might have been texting her girlfriend, I'm about to have lunch with this girl. And the person's like, who's that? She's like, you met her. Okay, let me show you. Boom.
Yeah, no, I think that's honestly happened. That was the thing, something like that.
It's just, Robyn, you wish people were obsessed with you. I will admit you are a hot topic of convo this season, and that's because every other season people have been calling for you to be fired, and this season is no different, actually, just for another reason. So first, everybody hated you because you were boring. They were like, you gotta go. Now you have a storyline and people still want you gone. So okay, a negative obsession. Now what?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's the thing that Karen was probably doing. You remember this delusional ass friend I told you about one point? You know, she's still with this man. You know, like,
yes,
and
that's what I imagined.
Mia's laughing at you, girl. Like, oh, you're gonna narrate your relationship as being good. Y'all don't need therapy because y'all just have to work on spending time with each other, girl.
Well, no, worse than that. When she said our issues are not with each other, it was just like, what? What? That is the saddest thing I've ever heard. What?
He's so mean.
That is a verbatim
He's so
quote.
mean. What do you mean it's not with each other? He's so mean.
Yes.
Not to speak of the cheating, but he's so mean. But y'all don't have issues with each other?
He's especially mean to you. Like, he's not even as mean to Mia. We know he loved Michael. So, girl. What is she talking about? Oh my God. Hilarious moment, first season reunion, because Robyn is sitting there talking about how Michael grabbed Andrew's butt at Charisse's birthday bash, by the way.
I forgot that was Andrew.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing, because also, by the way, Karen and Gizelle and all the other women had a problem with Michael showing up to Bethany Beach weekend. Like, okay, and then Ashley and Michael gaslighted them out of fucking their experiences, because it's like, and then fast forward to the PAVE event, frankly, it's like, yeah, the specter of sexual assault, the potential for sexual assault, it's going to exist. And guess who ends up being a sexual assailant? Okay. It is Michael. It is Michael. He literally committed sexual assault that same episode. Andrew didn't ask you to touch him.
No. And would carry it on to more vulnerable people, including the cameraman.
Black men, not cast members,
production crew.
Yeah, production crew. So anyway, what's her name? Karen? Robyn. But she a Karen. Robyn is addressing this butt grab by Michael, and she's saying, listen, let me explain to you actually how Black men relate. They might zap you up. And she begins to perform it. It's so triggering. Anyway. She was like, if Michael had grabbed Juan's butt, Juan would have knocked him out. Michael would have been on the ground. No, wait a minute. We have good reason to believe Juan would have been on his knees, in fact.
Because in the midst of Michael's most egregious, like when the production crew member called him out and they ran the tapes, Juan was defending him to the T. Nah, I fuck with Michael though. Yeah, nah, Michael's cool though. The whole time.
And the next season, Juan was like, yeah, we should go to Vegas, just me and you.
Yeah,
like,
he goes out of his way.
Okay. Anyway, so their problems are not with each other, which is a way of saying like our interest is not with each other. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And that doesn't even make sense, girl. Like, you could be having a thriving relationship and still benefit from couples therapy. So I insist you just protest too much. Like, we are watching your relationship play out on the goddamn TV. You need to go to therapy. Like, I can't believe. Like, it's crazy. Like, you don't want your relationship to work. She doesn't want it to work.
Yeah. Because she doesn't want to be open.
No.
No. Okay, so that was the big revelation. They don't have issues with each other of the salt sanctuary. There was also the Karen screenshot situation. Was there anything else? I feel like there was one other thing in the salt bath.
Yeah. Okay. I will say, Mia was talking about, she said, I retained a divorce attorney before this whole thing transpired. So that was an important piece of info, which maybe she did say at the therapist when Mia and Gordon were at the therapist. Yeah. She said before this whole thing transpired. So for some reason, I was under the impression the divorce attorney is because she's increasingly unhappy with the way Gordon's conduct has led to these kinds of negative consequences. But it was before that. Now, maybe Gordon's conduct was still on display before that, right? Like he's bullying his family members. He's like, I'll kill y'all if you don't give me my money. Maybe he's saying he's doing all of that, right? But if you notice, Robyn is like, stripper Mia thought, first of all, don't call her stripper Mia. You fucking, that was so disrespectful. Like, you know, I'm not even a Mia. Like, you're not gonna catch me defending Mia, but to call her stripper Mia is just nasty. That's actually nasty.
Especially to somebody who's been showing interest in you after everybody else, even your best friend is just like, girl, then fine, you're done for. Then if
I need to be clear about it, stripper Mia, it's because that was her job. You don't need to connect that to her name like it's her essential characteristic or her identity. When Mia was a stripper, that would have sufficed. That was just the truth. But to call her stripper Mia, she's a hater.
I mean, and that's what I've said this before. Like, I'm so not happy with these confessionals. I want you to tell me how you're feeling, thinking. And when they bring up something that your friend is going through, like, it's not an opportunity to tell a joke or step on someone's fucking neck. And that's actually how it's been taken.
Well, read it symptomatically, Katherine. If that's all she's going to give us, read it symptomatically. So she's saying, stripper Mia thought she was going to get a life of leisure when she got with Gordon, and that's just not what's happening, and that seems to be her problem. That doesn't seem to me like that's been Mia's problem. Since she's come on the show, she insists on calling herself the CEO. So it's not that Mia was looking to lead a life of leisure.
Right.
She was looking for an opportunity, arguably. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's Gordon who won't let up. Gordon may fear Mia is going to be, dissatisfied with him if he can't secure the bag or whatever, or maybe Gordon's like that himself, right? But like Mia's problem is that now you're getting bloodthirsty. That's what she's saying consistently is the. And if you don't want to believe her, Robyn, fine, don't believe her. Oh, okay, they fell from grace. He lost a little bit of money, but if she leaves him now, she definitely ain't getting it. Okay, if she leaves him on these terms.
Robyn is the one actually who married someone who looked like they were going to be successful in the NBA. And then now,
and like what a mark of her character that like Mia my sense is Mia continually goes to her because she's the closest one in the group who's experienced something like what Mia's going through. And it's like, Robyn, you can't even open up to connect to her on the basis of this eerily similar, really heinous experience that you both endured. You're gonna call her stripper Mia and be like, I guess the come up you was looking for didn't really pan out, baby boo. Really? That's nasty.
And then what it does is reveal actually your resentments, your gripes. It's like, Kristen, you raised this last episode or something, like, why can't Juan do the whatever? And I was like, Juan's not entrepreneurial, but that's what clearly Robyn was looking for. She was looking to lead a life of leisure because she married a professional athlete, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you marry somebody in the NBA instead of someone with an MBA. So now she's compensating by being the, expression of an MBA. I will be entrepreneurial. She's the breadwinner and she's resentful of it. Right? Yeah. And that's why she's so obsessed with telling Juan to get a job.
Yeah.
And then trying to hide it, in the last episode in the car or whatever, the stretcher's office, she's like, and so are you looking for a job? I mean, because we need to spend time together. Like it came belatedly as a cover for like, you ain't got a job yet, lazy nigga.
Yeah.
Like basically, that's what I mean,
and then it was almost like, if you're not going to work, you might as well spend time with me. You're not doing that.
And he's like, I'm asleep.
No, and when you think about it, this is a trigger for her, and this has always been a trigger for her. Juan doesn't have a job the first, he has a job, but he's low level on the coaching staff at University of Maryland first season. And she has a problem with that too. It's like he's up for a potential head coach position out of state. And then she goes, it's a relief that he's not, because then we'd have to figure out what our relationship status was. And every season after that, she's like, this particular one, the Glow 30 thing, I would have done it even if Juan wasn't jobless. I promise. Yeah. It has nothing to do with that. Like that, we're getting at the heart of her actual insecurities.
The Glow 30 thing is really illuminating too, because it's a like facial med spa. It's like it represents the hinge point between like enjoying leisure and working. It's like you say you got a franchise because you use the product a lot. It's like, I don't know if you could have afforded to be using the product a lot. Maybe that's why you had to get in on the franchising, because you wanted a discount in the product, because you couldn't just enjoy it like probably a lot.
And she used to be marketing on her socials like, this is me doing my skincare, because she was probably looking for a partnership. Like, at least she was looking for promo, free merch by
She does that with teeth whitening too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she goes to a place.
And then isn't it really surprising that Robyn is invested in all these, like, in this beauty industry? Because that doesn't seem like her brand, right? She's going for tomboy a lot. But actually, okay, this is also why I believe her to be a 4 now. The investment in appearance, it's like, it's kind of quiet. It's never really been clear. But now you've embellished. First of all, it's called embellished.
It's called embellished, yeah.
It's called embellished.
It's in the name.
It's in the name. She's like, costumes, performance. Okay. So that was already a thing. And then now it's facials. And like Robyn does generally like clearly put an investment in her clothes, right? Like sometimes it's a hit or miss.
Pickleball.
Oh my God.
It is hit or miss, but like,
what about this season's bust down? She got the blonde long weave now.
That's part of why Robyn is relatable to people, though, because she does consider these things, and then it's hit or miss. That happens. She's not a Gizelle figure, you know.
How do you mean?
Like, I think that she does care a lot about this stuff, and then sometimes you're like, okay, well, that didn't look.
I think that's why she's relatable.
I don't think that's why, but it's part of her general, like, yeah, she's like just some average middle-aged woman, you know.
But her investment, no, I would argue her investment in appearance is much higher than the average. It's consistent with 4-ness, but it's not average per se. And she hits more than she misses in the grand scheme of 8 seasons of Robyn, right? Like, she is, I would call her generally well-dressed. I don't want to give her that credit. And when her mistakes tend to be just like really bad. But yeah,
like when she had that wig at Wendy's little women in politics event, and everybody was like, "Oh, you doing that wig now?"
I don't even remember that.
It was like burgundy. You remember the burgundy like bad wig?
I remember everyone commenting on it. I don't have an image in my mind, but
when her own hair is burgundy,
it's cute.
If she's just getting tracks, that's fine, unless they're down to here. But whenever she does like hair that's not her own, she fails miserably at it. Like she doesn't have any help. Oh, her stylist. Her stylist is probably not. She's probably just putting those wigs on herself, and
I think that's what everybody's read was at the Wendy event. Was like, girl, did you just throw that on in the car? Because it don't even seem consistent, right? Yes. You remember her friend, her hairstylist friend, like went through some adversity, so maybe stopped the end.
That was at the beginning of this season, though.
It was last season. Remember when she and Candace met to reconcile last season? And
it was last season.
That wasn't this season. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
No, nothing has happened this season.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to underscore that bit of projection and ask you to also to like keep an eye out for the potential for this to be her kind of core thing, like material security, basically. Like,
want
to get a job, blah, 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 blah.
For sure.
Which is why I thought she was a 6.
Yeah. Okay. So then, speaking of material things, we go to NECA's new home in North Potomac, and and practically in Gaithersburg. And we see a glimpse into her married life. Ikenna needs to run. They need to break up. Like, it's crazy because she's looking like, oh, I hate you. And it's like, how you are the technical one.
I wonder if they're being produced, but it's like every encounter is such tension and
hostility.
It's like you lost your badge. Well, you need to go tell them at the hospital to give you a new one.
Yeah, almost like a snitch, right? Like, you're in trouble. You need to just fess up to the authorities that you lost your badge. It's like, girl, if you lost your badge, you don't go into, it's not fun to go into work and be like, hey, I lost the, like.
Then you spend a day taking a new photo, you know.
And then she literally starts that clip segment talking about like, I think the challenge we face is going to be like living together and just being together because we haven't been before. It's like, well, then why did y'all get being together is going to be a
Big
challenge?
mistake.
Yes, that was the word,
Huge.
Being together?
being.
Kelly
And that
before was
Robyn
really
needs to get to that place where she realizes that's also her issue.
That's her
Okay.
issue.
Okay, and my working thesis is that NECA is a 4. She could be a 2. But
Really? I've been thinking 6-ish. I could see. I do not think she's a 2.
Sanya is a 6, and she's a worthwhile person to consider. Sanya from Atlanta, because she's a worthwhile person to consider because she initially was moving in a way I was like, what is this girl's type? And then very soon into her first season, I said, oh, you're a 6. She chose a side and she stuck with it, like loyally was defending. NECA is still ingratiating herself. So I don't know, but okay. But anyway, let's keep that in mind. But one thing she said, our whole relationship was long distance and then we got married. You don't do that. You don't do that.
Not only that, but he's still working across the country. So they're actually not being together that often at all.
Like, why would you marry someone when you don't know what it's like to spend a day-to-day in an extended way? Like,
you're
what?
Thirsty,
Like,
trying to check some boxes that your family imposed on you.
Like, it was effectively arranged.
I now believe that she flat out says like, oh, I need to secure my check for the next 18 years. I feel like now I understand.
In the nastiest anti-woman, I'm going to be like one of these video vixens and get the turkey baster so I can
Yeah, what? Also, bitch, I'm sorry. But like, first of all, stop. That's not what it means to be a video vixen, okay? It means to be a hoochie and a hottie in a video. Okay, you can maybe associate some other behaviors with it, but not like having a baby on the musical artist. Like, that's taking it too far. That's not just video vixen. That's a certain category of opportunist. Like,
but the fact that you're invoking it just in the context of your life, it's like, oh, that must bear some relation to what you are really up to then. Like some like opportunistic grab, some instrumentalization of the significance of a child. Like, it sounds like you resonate with whatever this video vixen you're trying to condemn is. Like, stop.
Yes. And I feel like she is all the more pressed to have a child because she realizes this is not going well and we actually can't be together.
How tenuous their relation is.
Yeah. Because someone who's saying I'm struggling being with my husband would not be like, I'm trying to do IVF now.
Yeah, that's true. And it's like, that's why the baby's not materializing, by the way. I don't know. Okay, anyway, this is also maybe a reason for her to be a 2, because with 2s, there's that kind of like ambivalent, I need to be a mom. Do I really want to be a mom? You know, like they don't necessarily always say that, do I really want to be a mom thing out loud? But it's like, if you wanted to be a mom, you would have a more peaceable coexistence with the person who's going to father the child. And you're being hostile towards him. You think that's going to bode well for the success of any kind of impregnation? It's not.
But why I don't think she's a 2, or one of the reasons, is because when 2s tell you they want to be a mom, even if they are ambivalent, you can tell that they want a baby. You know, she doesn't want that. Like, I don't see her actually wanting to mother someone. I don't see that.
She's doing IUD. I mean, she's about to do IUI now. Yeah, like and for 7 years. Yeah, I mean, if there's an expression of trying, that seems to be it.
7 months. Okay. 7 months.
No, I thought she told Candace. Oh, 7 months.
7 months. Yeah.
Oh. Oops. They probably won't even take it. They probably even known each other 7 years. But the other thing is like, what's going on with Ikenna such that he's, you know, because the real egregious thing also I think that we are noting is when Gizelle shows up And then Ikenna is coming upstairs to say, okay, bye, I'm leaving now without my badge. I'm leaving now.
No, he had it. He found it.
Oh, he did. He found it.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was there.
It was there. That's when I
Yes.
saw that. I was just like,
He
girl.
found it real quick.
He
And
said,
what did
I
he-
got it.
Where
I'm
did
not
he
even
say?
I'm not even
Oh,
gonna
he didn't.
belabor you with the I told you so. I'm just resentful and I hate you and I'm going to work for a week.
Wow. Okay. Okay, sorry. Like, I feel gaslit because it's like, it was in the boxes. In my head, I was like, Ikenna, it's not in the boxes, okay? Why would you put your badge in the movie? Okay, but then he comes upstairs to say bye and like also probably to kiki with Gizelle, which makes me suspect he's also really trying to get put on. And then she's like, yeah, because you were about to mess with my money talking about you can't find your badge.
It's nasty. It's like mess with the when I had to watch that part back because I was like, I'm sorry, what's the relation? Your check? Wait, you're not he's going to work. And I was like, oh, girl, you work. What are you talking
That's
about?
why I asked, like, is she a practicing attorney? Like, what is going on there?
She works for a fintech firm.
Yes. Yes.
And then in addition to that, it's also like, I know this seems like a small point, but it's important to note that, and she's performing it for Gizelle, of course, but it's important to note that she acts like him not finding the badge meant his job was being compromised. Like, something
not
weird
that
about
I
that.
really have that much respect for medical doctors, but I have enough respect for them to say, like, why are you talking to him like he's in first grade?
I want to know why he's willing to play along with it. Like, that's the part
He might
that
be
is
out the door. Like this might be Nneka's anxious first performance of intimacy with a lover who's now her husband, and he's just like, you be where I swear.
He cannot be in the door. He cannot be in like
maybe it's not, they're not getting pregnant because he's not trying to have sex with her like that. Not like she
complained a couple episodes ago that we're not having enough sex.
He might, what do you call it?
Yeah.
He might be sabotaging the effort.
Yeah. I mean, she is too, though.
Yeah.
By treating him cruelly. Hopefully him and Gizelle will have an affair.
I would like that. And that'd be good for Gizelle because he's still a little long distance, So like it wouldn't, she likes her.
And it would be great for her ego to have stolen someone's man. She needs that.
And it would be good for Nneka to maybe like have some comeuppance and see if she can be humbled.
Yeah. I would love that.
Yeah, and she would be a victim, and then we could maybe actually root for her.
Maybe
I love a victim.
She and Charisse could have a sisterhood of the.
No, we don't want Charisse. We don't want to see Charisse anymore.
And yet she made her appearance.
I know.
A surprise appearance.
Did they even talk about anything worth addressing? Because I don't remember.
Chanel, those earrings are mine. Ooh, I like that.
That flashback. Yeah.
All that, they exposed, which we were getting a sense of last episode, that they are building a friendship off camera, those two.
Mm-hmm.
And then that when the three of them are together, that's when we find out about Karen's Surry County trip and who made the cut.
And of course, they take the opportunity to roast her because she rents that Potomac house. I know we don't have time for me to go on a tirade about
I wish you would, though. I want you to tell
you're not. Ask your own financial advisors, okay? It is not always an indication of what your accounts are hitting for to buy when you don't plan to be there long term. Anyway, we know Ray wants to move to Florida and retire. People are so stupid. Like, Gizelle, you just bought a house. For the
I did not realize that about Ray.
No, but Karen and Ray are easily cash rich, especially if they don't own the house. They are liquid like a mug.
Why would they buy a mega mansion in Potomac at this big age? Like, and you think people at this big age, who do they appear poor to you? That this is a sign of poverty? That they shut up, Gizelle. That's because you literally have no money in your account.
Yep.
And
it took you 6 years to build your little thing in the
mismatched. Exactly.
So,
okay. We'll return to those questions later.
It's a glorified checking account, as Ellen once said.
That's right. One that tends to land in the negative. Okay, but now should we go to Surry?
Let's go to Surry County.
Yes. So who ends up coming on this trip?
Well, let's talk about the invitation. Karen discloses at her lunch date with Ray. She said, "No, I wanted to make it equitable. I put all the names in the hat, all the names of the people I wanted to see."
And then Ray said,
They were so cute. I'm obsessed
so
with Ray.
cute. It was so cute. He did his little cute little.
I loved his shirt. He gets a fashion award for me.
It's so cute. I feel like he's turning into the little turtle that he dressed as at pickleball. Like he's just like,
more Ray.
and Karen's so good. Like they're so good together. I love them.
Okay. But so who finally ends up coming is thirsty ass Nneka. Even with the last minute notice, she said, "Got my stuff, I'm ready."
Yeah. Got my hair.
She was sitting with Therese and Gizelle, like, I don't know how she can just drop that on me last minute, bright and early. There you are the next day, girl.
Literally. Gizelle does a performative rejection of the invitation, and to echo what we all were feeling, and that is clearly writ across the Twitter timelines. Then Gizelle, leave. Your time is up on the show. If this is like literally go, you are out of your mind if you think you can carry the show on your own. You can't.
You're boring.
So embarrassing. It's just dumb. It's like the clothing line.
Young boy.
Yeah.
Exactly. At least
Delusion.
Robyn's thing was legitimate because she said, "I committed to hanging with these kids, my kids and their cousins." It's like, fine. That was at
she
least
added the cousins. I believed it.
Yeah, they were in town, maybe.
Yeah. One thing I want to say too, though, is Surry, Nneka. Oh, I had so much respect. Over the years, I've felt, differently about Karen. To see the private texts between her and the women who said they couldn't come, like I was like, yes, like I am living for cool Robyn, period.
Misspelled ROBIN. She said, "Whatever, bitch."
My favorite is Mia saying, "I can't get past original invite." And Karen said, "Mia, you need to."
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I would have been offended too, frankly, if I were them, but there's a reason why I'm not them. I don't have to relate to their positions because Karen would have invited me from jump.
And that's just that.
The only people she didn't invite are haters and naysayers. And it's like, oh, is Mia that? Mia is a nasty opportunist. She knew she was going to use the opportunity to try to shit on her because Mia is checking for people's backgrounds. That's her own deep wound. I don't come from anything and I want to shame quickly anybody who I suspect has humble beginnings or whatever.
And look at Nneka. Nneka calls Karen out in the drive. Karen's like, "No, what happened? Fine, I'll receive that." Yeah. And then Nneka's like, "Great. Okay. I still want to come though." She went so easily.
Okay. This is my issue with the car scene. Again, the cutting and splicing. All right. Nneka then, after that little moment with Karen, she asks or tells the women, "Oh, I'm going to have this unpacking party and, you're all invited and it's going to be like PJs and cute shit." And then
lingerie.
Lingerie.
I'm not unpacking your home in lingerie.
With my
I had that in my mind. I was like, she didn't say that because it's an unpacking party.
I literally was conjuring the Atlanta episode where
the pajama jam.
Yeah, but then I was like, I have to unpack your house. That doesn't sound like boxes. I don't. That doesn't sound like
say your best lounge sleepwear. Just shut up. She's so stupid.
So, but she says that, and then from the camera view we get, it just seems like okay, fine. Then we see Ashley seemingly responding to some body language that Wendy's giving, maybe, or who knows, and is going out of her way to say, she invited you too.
But we didn't hear it, right? Exactly. I too was like, when did she invite her? She said they took it as if she did, but I didn't see it.
She said she announced something she was doing, but I didn't hear that as an invite to the general car.
So it was an invite to the general car, which is totally fine then for some people to nod along, others maybe be silent and you say later you're not going. But we don't know what Wendy's actual reaction was to then make Ashley jump out. Did you hear her? It's like
no, but no. Ashley said it timidly, And do you know why? Because she's now intimidated by Wendy's. I'm very proud of Wendy's disposition towards Ashley. When Ashley announced her, Wendy said,
She said, "Oh, you were Gizelle."
and she's fine with Ashley, but she said, "Oh no, bitch, I'm gonna roast you. You crazy for that." And I think so. Ashley is now like in her place, like, did you hear her? Like, are you gonna yell at me? Please don't yell at me. It's like, yes, get her shaking in her goddamn boots.
And Ashley was outnumbered. It's like she didn't have a protector handy because Wendy and Candace were, over here. Even though the show will have you believe that Ashley introduced Nneka as her friend, we all called it from day one. That was instrumental. They don't know each other like that. They
wanted us to forget. They wanted us to forget.
My friend Nneka is gonna come to the house. That's not your friend.
Meanwhile, they're the least chummy at this point in the season, right?
Literally. There have been many more chummy moments with Nneka and Candace than there have been
truly
with Nneka and Ashley. All right. Well, in the last few minutes, we don't have to get into this because they're still going to be in Surry next episode, correct?
Yeah.
So anything stand out with when they finally make it to Virginia?
My favorite moment was a very small but not inconsequential one where they're combing out the underbrush from the trees. They discover the wishbone. Candace and Ashley do it. And of course, Candace wins the wishbone because right knows right. Because real recognizes real. The tree, nature, the order of being knew to reward Candace for her long suffering and Ashley's nasty insincerity. That's my favorite part of being in Surry County.
God negates Ashley. That's it.
That is beautiful.
God said that. Don't put that on me. Don't put that on me.
That was my GNA moment. God
negates Ashley. Wow.
Finally,
I'm proud of you.
Took me all episode.
I fuck with that one. That one's high on my list. That was good. I want to start next episode with that. God negates Ashley. Katherine, we'll be waiting for you next episode to start us off with one. I'm not gonna forget. I'm not gonna forget.
Mine is good night all the episode. You
should have closed this out with that one. You should have closed.
You didn't do it.
It's actually not too late. I don't honestly think anything too standouty happened, but I could see Karen and David, the son of Val, getting a little spin-off. Like I could see him being her sidekick in the development of the resort.
Karen's B&B.
And Val will be her foil, of course.
Yes.
Sad mouth. Val.
I don't think Val would agree to be on the show full time.
Unless she could be convinced she's doing God's work by shitting on Karen.
That's true. I would think that she represented the reasonable.
In that respect, David could play a really consequential role of like running and telling that to Val, but then smiling in Karen's face and he's
a mama's boy, but he's just like Auntie Karen's so mischievous. I love it.
Yeah.
So y'all hear that, producers? Go ahead.
Take notes.
Fixing up Karen's B&B or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that the only other thing we get is a view of a lot of Ashley's forehead, right? Like nothing.
I mean, one of the worst angles for her ever. That
oh my god! Not to mention that denim jacket and the skirt look.
Oh, the skirt! Even I remember this.
She's wearing a lime green ruffled skirt.
May she never bow before the Lord, because God already negated her. God already negated her, as Ellen told us.
He already negated her.
I'm really worried I saw on Instagram a post of hers the other day with the kids again. I'm worried for that Dylan and the other one, Dean.
It's probably too late. With a dad like Michael and a mom like Ashley, I don't think it's any hope for them.
I don't think Michael's involved, though.
I think it is too late. She was playing with a little plastic basketball and she kept being like, not so hard, Dylan, whoever's the older one. And then he like goes like winds up and then like goes ham crazy on it. And she's like, not so hard. And then he does it again and his face, I'll send it to you. But he really like
evil already.
Can
There
you
was a
Got
lot
the
of
John C.
aggression.
Riley face.
I'm sure Michael's adult children are, I don't know, killers, rapists. Who
That
knows?
is not funny.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, look at Michael. Like with that as their father.
Yeah.
There's only
It's
one way to go.
And
Let us
Ashley
know.
as their mother. Dear God, I forgot about that. That part's not good either.
Yeah. And then you're framing her as the good one, though, if Michael's the dad, and then you're really messed up. That is horrible.
Oh yeah, that's your horizon for good parent. It's gonna be
Yes.
Ashley in relation to Michael.
No, maybe they can look past her and just look to Sheila. Maybe Sheila can be
No, I feel like Sheila has been poisoned. I'm sure they go to dad's
I feel like
house. He
Sheila
shits
has-
on no good grandma. Then
Yeah,
mom is
yeah.
always
Yeah,
belittling
they have a
her.
black grandma. Oh, they're gonna bully her. They're gonna beat her up.
maybe Lump. Lump.
And Lump is gonna be like, get them little demons away from me.
Lump said, "I'm not fucking with it. I never endorsed this shit in the first place."
Now why am I in it? Get somebody else to do it.
All right. Well, with that, I actually am gonna say good night.
Good night, all.
Good night, all.
Drink to that.
Cheers.
Bye. Remember to like,
Bye.
comment, subscribe.
Especially comment. We trying to hear what you think.
Yeah, and definitely tune in next week. We'll be back. Bye.